Welcome everyone to the introduction to the risk management video. We will trying to approach risk, the problems with example of how to control risk or mitigate risk thereby. So definitions: risk management is nothing but a systematic approach to identify, assess, and understand risk in order to guide further appropriate management decisions and action thereof. Purpose of risk management: to minimize the potential harm of the risk event by implementing the strategies and actions to control and obviously to reduce risk. This is what we are trying to gain control over it. Remember the management and the perception. Risk management is influenced by what is perceived as risky. Risk perception guides opinion on risk and risk management. Your perception plays a vital, pivotal role altogether. Perception depends on the past experiences. Perception depends on your preparedness. Perception depends on your perceived control that you have over your thought process, etc. So, varying perception, be it the public or the expert. Expert consider probability, public prioritizing consequences. Public may feel helpless to a hazard, perceiving it as a high risk. Public has first hand experience of what is going on. Experts disagree most of the time amongst themselves. Public even don't know which expert to believe and whom to trust and whom to distrust. Approaches to management: proactive, pre disaster activities associated with reducing the risk, developing mitigating strategies, spreading awareness, etc., needs to be done. And this is all on a proactive basis. But then there is something called reactive basis too. This is where the post disaster activities associated with reducing impact, emergency relief and reconstructions takes place as the case might be. Disaster management prediction: identify the risk resources and understand the potential impact, take necessary actions for mitigation. Warning: effectively providing information to those who are exposed to hazard so that they can begin preparing themselves to fight off the risk, to hedge off the unwarranted consequences, and so on and so forth. This is disaster management. We are trying to predict forehand. We are trying to forecast. We are trying to warn, essentially equipping people with nothing but at least time and knowledge of what to do when the event actually occurs. Emergency relief is to provide assistance directly after the disaster. Rehabilitations: make decisions to restore, make decisions to improve the living conditions of a community, encouraging preparedness and future disaster. You look at the slide, there's a flooding which has been done and everything has been flooded. The community has been rescued by the disaster management team altogether. There are kids, there are old people, there are ailing people, uh, there are people with chronic diseases and they require attention. Disaster management is all about reconstruction, or should I say matching, combining every other steps to keep community informed about the potential risk, provide mitigation activities emphasizing preparedness, provide assistance to the community wherever needed, as on when on basis. Disaster management phases: what are we looking into it? Under the phases is all about prediction, it is all about warning, all about emergency relief, be it short term or long term. We are talking about rehabilitation, as in short term, ensuring the supply of electricity, ensuring the supply of potable water is rehabilitation. But reconstruction is where you actually set up the whole gamut of activities which enable the community to come back to their normal life. This is what we are looking into it. Remember, predictions and warning up before the event, but during the event is all about emergency relief and rehabilitation. that happens, and after the event is all about the short term and the long term reconstruction works goes around it. So yes, before the event, at the time, that what are we looking into a prediction, we are trying to prepare people, mitigate people, and this is nothing but a proactive approach. Because why? Because the event has yet not occurred, we are doing it before the event. But it is during the event is when the approach becomes reactive. It is the response that we install, it is the response that we gave, it is a recovery that we actually implement or execute. Enterprise risk management, ERM, understand the risk as it relates to an organization and company. Broad framework for risk analysis and action. Consider the entire range of risk associated with running an organization, financial, operational, strategic, hazard, etc., etc. Promote risk awareness and strategic decision making, thereby what are we looking into it? We are trying to find out the advantages of ERM to the organization, decreasing volatility of the stock prices and earnings, reducing external capital cost, better understanding of risk activities, better resource allocation and improving capital efficiency, higher return on equity as the case might be. Yes, we are talking about value of enterprise resource risk management. Enterprise risk management, ERM, considers every possible risk avenues together and don't take them individually. Take them all together. Remember, enterprise risk management can analyze the relationship between risk sources. Interdependency between the risk factor can be identified and managed appropriately, allows for the organized risk profile that can be shared easily.